A long time ago, in a bright and peaceful kingdom, a king and queen wished every day for a child. They prayed, hoped, and waited for many years. At last, one beautiful morning, the queen gave birth to a baby girl. She was so lovely that everyone who saw her felt warm and happy inside. Her skin was soft like flower petals, and her smile shone like the sunrise. The king and queen named her Aurora. To celebrate her birth, they held the biggest party the kingdom had ever seen. People from every corner of the land came to the castle. Musicians played cheerful music, dancers twirled, and long tables were filled with delicious food. The king and queen invited 10 fairies, the magical guardians of the realm, each prepared to bless the princess with a special gift. But one fairy was left out, Morwenna, a powerful sorceress living deep within a shadowed forest, feared by many. The king, worried she might bring trouble, decided not to send her an invitation. The invited fairies arrived, glowing with light and elegance. One by one they approached the cradle to offer their magical gifts. The first fairy blessed Aurora with extraordinary beauty. The second fairy gave her a heart filled with kindness. The third granted her endless joy and laughter. The fourth gifted her with brave and unshakable courage. The fifth gave her wisdom far beyond her years. The remaining fairies continued blessing her with grace, good health, and lasting happiness. Suddenly, a fierce wind blew through the hall and put out every candle. A dark figure stepped out of the shadows, silent and threatening. It was Morwenna, her eyes burning with anger over not being invited. "You dare leave me out of this celebration?" Her voice echoed across the hall, stopping all music and laughter. She lifted her hand, summoning a dark cloud above the baby's cradle. "I too shall give a gift," Morwenna said with venom. The king and queen trembled, terrified for their daughter. Morwenna continued, her tone dripping with cruelty. "On her 18th birthday, Aurora will prick her finger on a spinning wheel and fall into a sleep that will never end." Gasps spread through the hall as her curse echoed in the silence. The last fairy stepped forward with sorrow in her eyes. "I cannot erase the curse," she whispered, but I can soften it." With a wave of her wand, warm light cut through the darkness. "Aurora will sleep," she said, "but true love will have the power to awaken her." Though frightened, the king and queen clung to this small spark of hope. They knew they must protect Aurora with everything they had. The king issued a royal order immediately. Every spinning wheel in the kingdom must be destroyed. Guards went from home to home, collecting and burning them. The people obeyed, though confused by the strange command. The king believed removing spinning wheels would stop the prophecy. He was convinced this would keep Aurora safe. He didn't want his daughter to suffer the terrible fate Morwenna had foretold. The queen held Aurora close, whispering promises of protection. They showered their daughter with love, trying to shield her from the darkness. But the curse remained a dark shadow over their joy. They knew Morwenna's magic was powerful and persistent. All they could do was hope their efforts would be enough. Years passed, and Aurora grew, unaware of the curse. The king and queen watched her with both love and deep worry. They tried to create a world of happiness and safety for their daughter, but they knew that Morwenna's curse could strike at any moment. The danger hung over them like a storm cloud. They lived in anticipation, dreading Aurora's 18th birthday. The day came closer, like a shadow stretching across the land. The king and queen prepared, hoping to defy destiny. They doubled the guards, reinforced the castle walls, and prayed for a miracle. But fate, it seemed, had other plans in store for Aurora. The kingdom held its breath, waiting for the inevitable. The king and queen loved Aurora more than anything in the world. They would do anything to protect her from harm. But could their love be enough to break Morwenna's curse? Only time would tell what awaited Aurora on her 18th birthday. Aurora grew into a kind and gentle young woman, unaware of the curse. She also didn't know of the existence of spinning wheels. On her 18th birthday, she felt a strange pull. It led her to a hidden, forgotten part of the castle. Sunlight streamed through a dusty window, illuminating a room. Inside, she saw an old woman hunched over a strange device. It was a spinning wheel, long hidden away from the kingdom. Aurora had never seen anything like it before. "What is this strange thing?" she asked softly. The old woman smiled mysteriously. "Come closer, child. Let me show you its magic." Aurora approached cautiously, drawn in by curiosity. The old woman pointed to the spindle, sharp and gleaming. "Just a little touch, my dear, and you'll see wonders." Aurora reached out, her finger brushing against the spindle. A sharp prick, a drop of blood welled up on her skin. The room began to spin, the colors blurring together. She felt weak and dizzy. She fell to the floor and fell into deep sleep. The old woman's shape changed slowly. Her disguise melted away, revealing Morwenna's triumphant face. The curse is fulfilled! Morwenna cackled with glee. Far away, the good fairies sensed the curse's activation. They knew they had to protect the kingdom now. With a wave of their wands, they cast a protective spell. The entire kingdom fell into a deep, enchanted sleep. Thorny vines sprouted from the ground, surrounding the castle. Soon the castle was hidden behind the thorns. Many years passed, and people told the story of the sleeping princess. Many brave knights attempted to penetrate the thorny barrier, but none succeeded, defeated by the enchanted thorns. One day, Prince Philip heard the tale of the sleeping beauty. He was captivated by the story and determined to find her. He set out on a quest, his heart filled with hope. After many trials, he reached the edge of the thorny forest. He lifted his sword and walked into the thorns. But instead of resisting, the thorns parted before him. The fairies, sensing his pure heart, cleared his path. He reached the castle, silent and still in its slumber. He entered the castle and found the great hall. He walked through the silent halls, searching for the princess. Finally, he found her in the hidden room. Aurora lay sleeping, surrounded by the spinning wheel. He knelt beside her, his heart aching with love. He gently took her hand in his touch warm and true. At that moment, the curse began to break. Aurora's eyes fluttered open, and she awoke. She looked at Philip, her heart filled with wonder. The entire kingdom began to wake from its long slumber. The thorny vines withered and disappeared. Morwenna's power was broken, and she vanished. The people rejoiced, celebrating the princess's return. Aurora and Philip fell in love, their bond unbreakable. They were married in a grand ceremony, filled with joy. They ruled the kingdom with warmth and wisdom. Their reign was marked by peace and prosperity. Aurora never forgot the lesson she had learned. She always remembered the power of kindness and love, and they lived happily ever after, their love a beacon of hope.